Dragon Age Veilguard. I do not know why people are dogging this game so much. It makes no sense to me, considering I played through it, I did all the quests, I finished the game completely, all the side quests, everything, and I genuinely enjoyed myself throughout the game. And I don't understand why people are dogging it so much. I really don't. I really don't. Overall, I think it's a good game. There are some parts I really like and some parts I really don't like. And hopefully in this video, I can convince some of you just to give it a shot. In Steam, you can download it, return it within 2 hours if you don't like the gameplay, period. You can give it a shot. I have been playing this game nonstop. Like every evening, every time I get a chance, I've been putting 2-3 hours in it every single night for the past, well, not every single night, but you know what I mean, for like the past month and a half, 2 months. It's a very good game to play on a Steam Deck, not on the hardware over Moonlight, obviously. I really enjoyed the game, and let me just put some context here. So there's 2 games I've been playing Space Marines 2. Love that game, beat the game. It's a 10-hour game, probably 7. Probably 6 if you're a better player than me, which probably all of you are. And that was a good game, great story, great gameplay. And then the game prior to that I was playing was Ghost of Tsushima, another really good game. Got 50 hours in that game, but I never finished it. And why did I not finish Ghost of Tsushima, which is acclaimed one of the greatest PC games or best things on PlayStation? I don't like, well, there's a lot of people jerking off that game, and it's not lying. It's a good game. I like the game a lot. I got 50 hours in the game, but I didn't beat it. But then Dragon Age Origin comes along, and I beat Dragon Age Origins. I completed all the side quests, everything, and I'm now making a video about trying to convince people to freaking play it. And it's not because I'm an EA shill. I just don't generally understand why people didn't like this game. So I'm hopefully maybe I can make some key points to convince some of you guys to at least give it a shot. Other than that, I have no other reason for this video. I haven't finished Ghost of Tsushima. I'm kind of bored of it, oddly enough, but I was able to finish Dragon Age. And the only reason I was able to finish Dragon Age, even though I would say Ghost of Tsushima gameplay is better than Dragon Age's combat, which is good too. I would it's very good if you ask me. It's a very good gameplay. Coming back from a person that played Origins, Dragon Age 2, not Inquisition, I really enjoy the gameplay. I thought the combat was good. I thought the level design was good. It wasn't great. It was good. But overall, the combat was great. Not as good as Ghost of Tsushima. But the reason why I didn't finish Ghost of Tsushima and I finished Dragon Age was because I found the story more compelling on Dragon Age than Ghost of Tsushima. I'm not saying Ghost of Tsushima's story is bad. I'm just saying it was kind of boring. It was boring. Oh yeah, someone invaded, they took over. This was where my immersion kind of completely, and this is kind of stupid. But the fact that this one samurai is killing all these Mongols, and that same samurai was in the battle that killed all the other samurais, and now he's good enough to just kill all the others. I was just like, at the very beginning, I was like, oh, you're telling me the one guy that survived because he got shot in the arrow in the back is now the greatest samurai to ever exist? So I get it. Like, Dragon Age has problems with that too. But I'm just saying it was like at the very get-go, and it made me not care about the story. Really, it really made me not care about the story. The combat, the fighting is great. Everything's great, and that's what kept me for 50 hours. But the story I was just like, it was a slog for me. I just really didn't care about the main character, didn't care about anyone. I'm only using this for context for Dragon Age Veilguard. I cared about the main story arc in Veilguard out of the gate, and maybe because I am more into the fantasy type genres, maybe that, which would incline like other people that like this kind of genre, they were dogging on this. The overall story arc on that game was good. It really kept you for a ride. It kind of kept me guessing, even though I knew a little bit of from what I remember from Origins and Dragon Age 2, and which actually doesn't have really anything to do with those games other than the Blight. But the Inquisition was a pretty big part of the new one. So the last, well, technically Dragon Age 3, I think, has a big part in Veilguard. The story was so good, it made me think about playing Inquisition, and I almost bought it. But then I was like, this game's gonna take me another 60-80 hours. I don't have time for this. So I just watched someone do a gameplay of it. The story is good. It's good. It was compelling. It was good. You know, you got your betrayal, you got plot twists. There's the things that are going on in the game that keep me wanting to play story-wise. And then you tie that in with pretty good gameplay, it's a no-brainer for a finisher. It's a no-brainer. I think it is a compelling enough story to play, especially if you already played some of the Dragon Age games. I think it was great. Now let's talk about art design. I don't care about art design. The fact that people care about art design, knowing that there are games with pixel arts out there, it doesn't make any sense to me. And you're not gonna play a game just because you don't like the art design. So if you don't really care about it, then you know, that's a good reason for you to give it a shot. Okay, so now let's talk about another thing people talked about. They said it was a big friendship game, and they weren't lying. This game is just like any other Dragon Age game, any other Mass Effect game. You got to make your friends happy to beat the overall game. You need to make everyone happy. Everyone needs to be a good friend out of the gate. And it was tedious. Some of them I really disliked. Majority of them I disliked, and it was a bit of a slog to get through. The companions, Harding, the little elf dwarf girl, I hated her character model. I hated the way she looked. I don't know why. She freaked me out. There's a couple scenes where she's kind of just sitting all oddly, and she's like leaning on her folder in a kind of a casual sexual pose. I'm like, what the hell is going on? It grossed me out. I did not want to see any of it, and it made me not like her story arc, which it was interesting. I won't lie, it was interesting, but the fact that I already made a disposition to not like her character, mainly I think it was her voice and just the character model, just looked weird to me. It's just that dwarves look weird to me. And then there's one character, his name's Emmerich the Necromancer, who is easily by far the best companion in the game story-wise. And then last but not least, you know, the one people always talk about, and this is going to be a little bit spoilers if you know nothing about the game, is Tash. She is the Qunari, and she's a non-binary Qunari in the game, and basically she fights with her mom in the game. And then I heard a couple comments about this, and they were saying, oh, you know, like, why don't she just grow up fighting with her mom, and you know, like, the world's ending and things like that. I was like, oh. And one thing they were saying there was like, no one can really relate to that. And I was thinking, I was like, what do you mean no one can relate to being mad at your mom or your mom not understanding you? I think we all can relate to that, unless you didn't have a mom and then you got more problems. And I'm going to be sitting on this Tosh point for a while. The fact that people disliked her character just because her character disliked her mom because they thought that was unrelatable is ridiculous to me. It's ridiculous to me. I was like, that's the most relatable thing in this whole freaking game, how your mom doesn't understand you and you're mad at her and you don't know how to express yourself. I was like, that makes perfect sense to me. But now let's go talk about a lot of big problem with people. They call it woke guard or whatever, because Tosh is non-binary. So my thing about that is I don't care. I don't care. And this is probably going to get this whole video demonetized. But I don't care what people want to be called. I don't care. It doesn't bug me whatsoever. I'm all for it. Do whatever you want to do, you know what I mean? As long as you're not hurting no one else, who gives a damn? But I do hate the fact that it is in this game. And let me explain. It's also in Baldur's Gate 3, which is another game that I haven't finished playing because I hate the combat on it, but I like the story. But I hate the combat so much, I'm not going to finish the story. That was a waste of $50. I do not like any game that has the gender, like either male or female, and then they add a non-binary or he, she, him. It drives me insane. And not for the reasons like people would think. I don't care. I honestly don't care what you choose to be called. I don't. But the fact that it's in the video game pisses me off because I don't think it's in there for the right reasons. Okay? And let me explain. I think the only reason they put these non-gender binary crap into these games is because a very small part of the internet, an extremely small part of the internet, happens to be one of the loudest on the internet. The loudest. Meaning, if they put the non-binary and she, him pronouns things on there just to make these people happy, and I don't like that. That is you're putting something in a game to not get in trouble with a certain group of people. It feels dirty to me. It feels like they were coerced, I can't even say coerced to do that. And it's I don't get it. I'm just like, stop doing this. Like, just because these people get so angry on the internet doesn't mean you need to bend to their will. It's tyranny when you think about it. They're just so scared that this small group of people are just going to start writing mean things to them on the internet. And I think that is a wrong reason to put it in your video game. You should put it in your video game because it's part of the story arc. It's part of the role-playing thing. And I think the only reason for the most part, I'm probably making this up, but this is what I feel. They only put it there because they're scared of these people, because they're freaking loud. They're super duper loud, and they want to be heard. And so rather than hearing from them, let's just throw that in a game. It's not going to cost us anything to add another slot on the he, and then a slot for he, shim, and all this bull crap. It costs them nothing, and it keeps a small group quiet. But in my opinion, it costs them their integrity. And, you know, who are you without your integrity? But we are talking about a for-profit company. So that is my take on that for the most part. Hopefully that was compelling enough. I'm just basically ranting. I think it's a good game, and I think it's definitely worth at least trying the first 2 hours of. I thought it was a pretty compelling story. The combat was good. The companions pissed me off a little bit and was kind of a slog. But it's like every other like, you're not gonna like all the characters. I hated more characters than I did in any of the other Mass Effects games. But there's always those companions who you just can't stand, and you wish they could just go away. What is up with the peg leg? I don't. It's like no one explained the peg leg. Nev has a peg leg, and no one. I just wish there was someone would explain how she got the peg leg. I was hoping this whole time in the game that someone would explain why she has a peg leg, but no one will ever tell you. I want to talk about one more thing before I let you guys go. If you made it this far, and if you want me to rant more about video games, please let me know. I love to rant. EA. People, I for the life of me will never understand why people get so upset with EA. EA is a for-profit company. Their whole obligation is to make money. By law, they need to make money. Does no one understand that? And I don't understand why people get mad when for-profit companies do for-profit things. This is their prerogative. Their prerogative is to make money. It is. That's it. That's it. What do you expect? They ain't gonna save the world. They're just here to make money. So I don't know why I get so upset when I see people get so upset with these companies like being money hungry. That's what they are, man. If you don't like them, don't support them. Like, don't support them. I think you should support them for this game. I think the game is a good game. Could it be better in a lot of ways? Yeah, any game could be better. But honestly, out of all the games I've played in the last year, this is one of the games I had a hard time putting down, and I wanted to get through that story, even though I hated a lot of the companions. And it was an overall good story. Like, I think the last game I like couldn't put down, and I had to get through Cyberpunk, which I thought was good too, and people dogged that too. But everyone's gonna have their own opinion. But it's a good game. I think you should play it. So I'm gonna leave you guys with that. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys on the next one.